So you've come here for the truth. Well, we've got the truth and nothing but the truth. Here are your hosts, Robert A. Bianchi and David J. Bruno.
Welcome to Nothing But the Truth podcast with your host, Bob Bianchi and Dave Bruno, two lawyers from New Jersey talking about mindset. Dave, crazy. We're doing these episodes. We always have these amazing guests that are doing amazing things. And I know me and you were just talking about the other day how blessed we are that we have been in the mindset game well before it was popular, well before everybody else was, all the way back from being trained by Dr. Brene Brown and doing our Joyful Journey lectures, and now with Assignments and Summations and Law Life. And yet we have, again, another awesome guest. Dave, who do we got?
Oh, without a doubt. Jennifer Gillman is the president of Gillman Strategic Group, a legal recruiting company focused solely on law firm partner placement. And believe it or not, Jennifer is a recovering lawyer herself. She knows how busy law firm partners are and how Jennifer received a JD from New York University School of Law and her undergraduate degree from Brandeis University, magna cum laude. She worked with a full-service New Jersey legal recruiting firm for 10 years before following her dream and launching Gillman Strategic Group in 2018. Jennifer, it is a pleasure. Thank you for coming on. Looking forward to this episode.
Well, thanks so much for having me. I'm looking forward to it too.
Okay, so listen, let's get right to it. Recovering lawyer, lawyers are stressed. A lot of people don't understand. Finally, again, another topic we talk about, we have the bar has finally gotten into the courts, the wellness committees, and so you're a recovering attorney. We get it, right? A lot of stress, stuff like that. But I think that the minute I read your resume, the thing that jumped out at me is something that I think that you have to offer younger people, and that's people who are contemplating even going into law school. I know you're helping current lawyers, but listen, hear me out here for a minute. I believe that the doctorate degree that you get as a lawyer, a Juris Doctorate degree, is the most versatile degree you can get, and you are living proof of that. You can be an attorney. You can be somebody that doesn't practice law, but valuable to a corporation. You can be a chief of police, and that training and background is going to help you with regard to having law. Everything involves the law. And in fact, you could take that degree and start a business like you did to assist attorneys. So first, talk to me about how you made that transition of using that doctorate degree to build your business, and what specifically are you doing with your business now that you're helping lawyers as opposed to being one?
Sure. Well, in contrast to a lot of other legal recruiters, I really enjoyed practicing law. I was mostly a management side employment lawyer, and I really liked my practice. But then my husband and I decided to have children, and I didn't see our first child for 2 years while she was awake. And I was, we had moved out to the suburbs, and I was having a long commute and very unpredictable hours because there were a lot of litigation-based matters I was working on where we'd be there overnight or late nights. So I was trying to find an in-house job closer to home in New Jersey so that I could be around for my toddler and the baby we were about to have. And I met a recruiter while I was applying for those jobs. I almost got a job in-house at a pharmaceutical company, and that guy called me to see if I wanted to apply for the job I was already interviewing for. And he said, you know what, you would like this better. Come have lunch with me. And we kind of got started, and it's more flexible. You love talking to people. You know a whole bunch of lawyers already. It's something you could fit around your family and still have a career. So I worked for him for almost 10 years, and it really was flexible. It feels like everybody in my town is a stay-at-home mom, and everything happens at 11 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's hard to get a full day at the office around it. So it really did allow me, even pre-COVID, to work from home sometimes, to be very flexible. But when my kids got a little bit older, I started thinking about how I wanted to be on the lawyer side, not on the law firm side. There's so much stress in the profession. You're right. I'm sure we've all read Big Law Killed My Husband. We all know that attorney suicide rates are very high, problem drinking and drug rates are very high, anxiety, depression, physical symptoms. And I really think that being in the right position, whether it's practicing law or finding something else to do, is a way to achieve some balance and happiness. And that's what we're here for.
Yeah, I just want to follow up real quick. I think that's something that's powerful. I think it would help a lot of lawyers to know that there are other things available, that you may be comfortable and miserable, but you don't have to be. And I think that sometimes just having that escape path, knowing that there's somebody like you that may be able to fit them into something when they finally get to the point where they got to pull that ripcord, is powerful. So talk to that, like specifically. Do you find that there's a resistance and then all of a sudden you're placing them in a better, like I found this when I was the prosecutor. Sometimes you can move somebody where they're so miserable, for lack of a better expression, or emotionally overwhelmed in one unit, and you move them to a different unit, which requires a different skill set, a different temperature, and they blossom into different people. Tell me about that.
Yeah, well, I find that lawyers are risk averse to begin with. So they're worried about maybe the evil they know is better than the evil that they don't know. And so they're always very worried, well, I'm successful here. I have a job. The market's not good. They're paying me well. My kids have school tuition. I've got a mortgage. I don't know if I can take a risk. And a lot of them don't like to admit that they made a bad choice. They like to be right. So a lot of times they'll convince me why their firm was the right choice when they joined. And I've gotten to the point where I understand they want to know that it was the right choice then, and I can help them understand that they don't have to stay forever if it's the wrong choice now. So as their clients change, as the personalities in the law firm change, as whatever their needs are, whether they're taking care of an elderly relative or they want more time with family, or their clients become more national or multinational and they can't really get it done with a firm that only has one office, or the rate structure doesn't work, whatever it is that's really frustrating to them all day long, every day, that's keeping them from spending time doing other things and being as happy and successful as they can be. Sometimes all it needs is a different firm that has just some of those small differences. And my favorite call is the day they start the new job and say, oh my God, you were right. It is different. Not every firm is the same. Like, I wasn't lying to you. I mean, we do the best we can to help them solve the problem they have where they already are. A lot of times it helps if you make a business case for the resources you're looking for. I need to hire a new associate. I need a new marketing budget. We need to open a new office. Explain to the firm what they're going to get out of it. What's the projected ROI for that? And sometimes the firm will agree with you and give you what you wanted, and you can stay where you are. So not every lawyer has to leave to get some relief from the issues that they're experiencing. And then sometimes I talk to people and I can tell that they just really don't enjoy practicing law, especially at a law firm. Maybe they would like government practice or in-house practice. Maybe they'd like to teach a class or write a book or take that law degree and do something else with it. And, I have some resources for that too.
Wow. I just actually recently wrote about this in Law Life, about conditioning and limiting beliefs. And oftentimes these are just the things we believe are norms, right? But it's bringing awareness to maybe some of the alternatives here. And you make a great point too about the stress and the suicide rates and all the problems that run parallel in this industry. How does it relate? These conversations that you're having and bringing awareness, how does that relate to this ongoing wellness conversation that we're all having?
Well, I feel like very successful lawyers don't get any sympathy from anyone, no matter what kind of mental health issues or physical health issues they're experiencing. People say stuff like, well, imagine if you were doing it for minimum wage, or imagine if you were doing it, outside in 90-degree heat or 0-degree cold. Yeah, that would also suck, but that doesn't mean that we should expect our lawyers to be suicidal and keep going anyway, or to have to abuse alcohol and drugs just to make it through. And there's really no reason to expect that from people. And if you're at the right place, you can have a more sustainable, balanced career. I mean, the idea is a lot of lawyers burn out. A lot of them can't, there's some writing about how we use lack of sleep for prisoners of war. There are a lot of law firm lawyers that haven't had a good night's sleep in decades because they're evaluating themselves on how quickly they can turn that work product for the partner they work for or the client they're responding to. They get evaluated on how many hours they put in. They get paid bonuses for more and more hours, and they're giving up sleep, and they're waking up with things in the morning and using other substances to fall asleep at night. And some of them just get caught in a cycle that they can't get out of. And the ones that say, we hear about New Year's resolutions every year. A lot of people share a lot of personal things with me during these conversations. They'll say stuff like, this is the year I'm finally going to get a therapist and figure out what would make me happy. And they make an appointment for 11 o'clock every Tuesday, and they're going to go. They're definitely going to stick with it. And they go 2 times, and then they have a client emergency and they have to cancel. And then they have something else and they have to cancel. And eventually the therapist will drop them because the therapist has a wait list of patients who actually can come in and can receive therapy. And they won't find another therapist. They'll say, oh, it'll only happen again. I can't do it. The same goes for, dealing with physical health symptoms. A lot of lawyers don't have diagnostic tests that their doctors recommend. They could have had that, stress test and prevented that heart attack. They could have had that mammogram and not gone through cancer treatment, but they won't take the time away from the office because they have to be available for their clients all the time. So we talk very frankly with them. We're like, well, imagine how inconvenient it would be for your client if you were on leave for 6 months having treatment for your heart attack or for your cancer. Imagine it would be even more inconvenient if you died and they had to get another counsel. Do you think maybe they could give you up for 2 hours so that you could prevent anything from happening? And, most clients are very reasonable people, and they don't want anyone to not treat their mental and physical health. They just in the moment get caught up with, no, I need an answer right now. And, usually there's a way around that.
All right. Well, you know what? I think that like many things, it starts at the beginning. And right now we are at the end of this segment, and we'll be to the beginning of a new segment with picking up on this conversation. So just check out this space coming up, and we'll be right back.
At the Bianchi Law Group, our team of former prosecutors and certified criminal trial attorneys specialize in criminal defense and domestic violence cases. When you need a law firm with courage, compassion, and the commitment to fight for you, call the Bianchi Law Group today.
I again, using my experience, believe that for lawyers, I want to be careful with the adjective I use, but one of the things to watch out for, that young attorneys or people in law school, or even maybe before you get to law school, is the big law firm hoax. Sorry to my friends out there in the big law firms, and many of them are my partners I'm friendly with. And the big law firm hoax goes like this. I'm going to dangle a couple of carrots in front of you. I'm going to get you into this environment. And then it's about pumping out billable hours, and the machine doesn't end. And it keeps going and going, and your progress and your success and how you're tracked and how you're measured maybe I'm wrong, and please feel free to disagree, isn't so much anymore about the human that you're servicing. I'm not saying it's not there, but can't be leaning into that concept when you have the constant drum of 40 to 50 to 60 billable hours per week. By definition, you are working 2 jobs for that salary. And by definition, you will eventually lose that cross-country race that you begin with a sprint. What are your thoughts?
I have to agree with everything you said. Our method of looking at it is called the 6 pillars to becoming a happy rainmaker, and it encourages even law school students, but certainly first year lawyers, to look at relationship building, to look at the law firm as a business, to look at bringing in alternative sources of revenue as they advance. So, yeah, you're going to have to put in a lot of hours as a very junior lawyer. And I think junior lawyers are okay with that. They're usually a bit younger. They can go with a couple hours less sleep than I can. And they understand, they have to put in those hours at the beginning. But the problem is at those big law firms, if you can only bring in, Apple or IBM or Microsoft as a client and you don't happen to know anybody who works there, you're only valuable for how many hours you can bill. And even if you make partner, you're a service partner. You're only valuable because you're billing on somebody else's stuff. And we try to show everybody that if you can do some business development on your own and just think of it as relationship building, keeping in touch with the people you liked in college, the people that you vibed with in law school, the people who may be at other firms, may go in-house, may be able to direct you work or opportunities of some kind, then at some point you can bring in a second stream of revenue and the firm stops caring about how many sheer hours you can bill because they're looking at the other source of revenue you're bringing in. And when it's your client, you have more control. So when it's your client, you decide what day the conference call is going to be. When are we going to set the deadline for? Who's going to be on the team? Which resources are we going to use? And it's not going to be when your kid is in the school play or when you're coaching Little League. It's going to be at a time when it fits into your schedule. But if you're the service partner and somebody tells you that Thursday at 4 o'clock is when the conference call is, you don't really have a lot of leverage to change it.
I was just saying that,
I love it. I want to definitely
Dave's, I know Dave's got a pot. We talk about these things all the time, and even though Dave and myself have been with each other as professionals for and friends for so many years, we were just having the conversation about how proud we are of what we created here. Because I said to Dave, and he agrees completely, not that, but it's worth repeating. There's nothing more valuable than your time. And it can be used as a punchline. You got to lean in and understand it to the young people that may be listening to this. There is truly nothing more valuable than time. That's what you're saying. Where you get to set the schedule, where you can go to your kids' events, where you can go take that trip that you want to take, and that you have built a business that's capable of making sure your employees are taken care of and that they have the ability to do those things, but you're able to create your moments. Because Dave knows, when we both gave TED Talks, mine's called Deathbed Confession. It's a couple of my experiences in EMT, where you don't want to be on your deathbed wishing you had done this, wishing you had done that, because you didn't open up that valuable area of time. You gave your time to someone else. And that is, to me, a draconian thing. And Dave, we talk about this all the time. What are your thoughts?
Absolutely. Look, Monday night, I had my meeting. I'm the chair of the membership committee of the State Bar Association. And I was teaching everybody LinkedIn and how to support each other in the LinkedIn community with commenting and resharing, right? And this is how we met. I saw Jennifer on LinkedIn, and I saw her content and her pillars and all the great stuff. And that's the reason that this interview is even happening right now. And I want to highlight what you just said, because breaking free of the shackles and leveraging the skills that you have is about building those connections and communities and things like that. So let's not get past this. Lay it out for me right now. 6 pillars to becoming the rainmaker. I want to hear them, Jennifer.
Well, becoming a happy rainmaker, because there are a lot of miserable rainmakers out there, and we're trying to make them happier.
Good distinction.
The first one is care for yourself, because we say you have to be alive to do the rest. Think of yourself as an elite athlete. You can only be a good lawyer and offer good analysis and legal advice if you're getting some sleep and some good food and some movement, and you're taking care of your health and seeing the doctor when you're sick, that kind of thing. But the second one is build business, because having your own clients is the one thing that's going to give you leverage and control for the rest of your career. If your firm isn't willing to treat you correctly, even after you lay out a business plan, what the the ROI is going to be for what you're asking for, you can go to another firm or hang out a shingle and start your own firm or start your own company, whatever it is you want to do, if you build those relationships. So you have to think of yourself kind of as a mini firm inside the bigger firm, and you have to look out for yourself a little bit, and you can align those interests with the firm. Oh, I want to go speak at this conference. It's going to be great for our firm, but it's also going to be great for you. And then we talk about setting boundaries and planning intentionally. So we tell people, if you want to coach Little League at 4 o'clock on Thursdays, you tell everyone that's what you're doing. You put it on your calendar as I'm out of the office from 4 to 6 on Thursdays, and you keep it unless there's a real emergency, or else nobody's going to trust that that's a real boundary for you. Planning intentionally, take out your calendar a year in advance, find that 2-week vacation you're going to take with your family, set up a half hour for business development every week, whether it's a networking event or you're going to make a LinkedIn post. Put those conferences you want to go to, those doctor's appointments, get, a walking buddy and put a walk every week on there. Whatever it is that matters to you should be reflected on your calendar, and you'll plan around it. But you're never going to find time for a 2-week vacation next week because you're already busy. And then we talk about learning continuously and creating a legacy. So everybody has to do CLE as a lawyer. Make sure your CLE counts for you. Are you learning about the issues that matter to your clients? Are you staying in front of the news? Are you learning new things so that you're valuable to your current clients, to future clients, so that you can pivot if you lose interest in what you're doing, or if the economy changes and you have to work on something else? But always be valuable by what you can learn, whether you're reading or going to some extra classes. And then creating a legacy. What do you want to be known for today? And what do you want to leave behind after you retire? A lot of 87-year-old lawyers are still at it because they're on their third divorce and their kids won't speak to them and they don't have any hobbies. Let's not be one of those people. Let's have a meaningful retirement that we're looking forward to.
I love it. I love it. That building business, that second pillar that you have, also includes referral sources. I mean, this is something that we're big into. Like Bianchi Law Group, we're really niched in our practice. I mean, criminal defense, domestic violence, municipal court. All the time we're getting these calls that, hey, we got to build up these benches, these benches for helping our clients, and in turn helps more people too, makes impact. So I love that second one. And then also the fifth one, learning continuously. We are in a gold rush of technology right now. In fact, with the ability and tools for workflows and AI and the tools that come out to help and do things quicker and even more efficiently and better, it's just coming out. There's new things every day. So, Bob, I am blown away by the 6, and I think it is an excellent set of pillars, Jennifer, that you've come up with.
I'd like to just say, though, with this explosion of technology and with the ability to be able to really bury your head into Google or Chat or Claude or whatever for hours at a time and just let every question in your mind, I do it. I mean, I've been victim of it. Oh my God, it's 3 hours. I got to get to bed. Makes it even more important today than ever to know what your goals in life are. Because I feel that otherwise, all this information is chaotic. And I notice I ride still as an EMT, with the younger people, great group of young folks and starting out. It's interesting to watch their lives. But knowing what inspires you, knowing what you're passionate about, knowing what you want to say at the end of your life is more critical now than it was 30 years ago. What are your thoughts about knowing your North Star so you could take all this data, all this information, and use it like a laser beam as opposed to just a general light thrown out?
I agree with you wholeheartedly. That's part of our plan intentionally pillar. Don't have an accidental career. So what is your goal? Plan your year, but do a business plan for the next 5 years, the next 10 years, revisit it every year. Are you achieving what you wanted to achieve? Do you want to make a pivot? Do you have to use that learn continuously pillar to learn something new? All of that really fits together. Our North Star is, successful lawyers deserve to be happy too. And the mission for the 6 pillars is not one more lawyer suicide ever again. So when I'm tired and, there's one more email to send, at least I have something driving me. It can't just be, I want to bill as many hours as possible at this big firm that doesn't care about me. That's not really a mission for people. That's not enough to keep people going. So they have to have their own goals.
I like it too. I think too, focus oftentimes. I want to be a lawyer to make money, right? It's like almost like the financial drive. I'll tell you what, for all young lawyers and anybody thinking about coming into the profession, that cannot be the drive.
Prison sentence.
That cannot be the motivation. In fact, the law license gives you a license to help people, to provide impact, to serve, to build community. And I think when that mindset flips away from the cash and the money to the impact and service, I think that's where the motivation discipline really can flow for helping.
I think that you could look at it also a little bit in reverse, because I agree with what you said. But there's also this thing that law is not a business, and law is a business. It's like nails on a chalkboard to me. The balance is making it a business where you can have an affordable life, the kind of lifestyle, but be passionate about service, what you're doing, right? Yeah. So when you're working for that partner and you're in the partnership tract and you're just there cranking out billable hours for the purposes of an amorphous company in some complex business litigation dispute, which isn't really moving the needle, is a lot different than the time you're putting into maybe a criminal case or a civil rights case or a matrimonial case where there's a real person with a real difference and a real impact that you can literally see that you're making a positive difference and still get paid for that.
I just want to follow up on that, and I'm going to send it back to you, Jennifer. But the beauty of that flip of mindset is that the money comes.
Right.
It flows from it. It's not that you're just motivated by it, but you're motivated by the impact and service. And inevitably, business will come.
Yeah, but that's why I said the problem with the big, again, no disrespect, but when they're dangling that carrot of money in front of you, and then you get a mortgage and a car, and you're financially tied to them, then it becomes all about the money. I agree with you.
And that's Jennifer's point, is that breaking free of those handcuffs and becoming your own happy rainmaker makes you more valuable. I'm throwing it back, Jennifer, because we are all together on this one.
I think we're all in agreement. What you're saying sounds like my favorite book, The Go-Giver. I don't know if you are familiar with Bob Burg and John David Mann's book, but they say money is an echo of value. You provide enough value and the money follows, but money can't be the thing that you're looking for. I agree with everything you've said, but I would add that you like doing criminal defense. I like doing employment law. Some people like matrimonial because it's very people oriented, but there's someone out there who loves figuring out the tax code or loves structuring a deal or something that seems faceless to you. It's just having a passion for what you're doing and looking forward to it and being proud of it and feeling interested in it, not just chasing the money, that I think helps people be happier.
I agree with that
Absolutely.
Completely. All right, well, listen, we are certainly birds of a feather, all of us, and very glad we met, but unfortunately that's it for us now for this podcast, but it couldn't end it in a perfect note. Follow your passions, and the echo chamber will be the money that follows. I think that may be the byline for this.
Yep.
So,
shameless plug, we have a book about the 6 pillars coming out in January called The Happy Rainmaker. It's told as a business parable. It's a cute little story you can read on a plane.
And I was actually going to ask you before we conclude the show if you could tell us where they can find the book or find you in particular, and then I'm sure the book will follow.
Sure. So we have a book page that's going live soon. The book is coming out in January of 2026. It's called The Happy Remaker. It'll be on Amazon and wherever books are sold. But you can always find me on LinkedIn. That's where I found Dave. And we have a website where we have a lot of this information about the 6 pillars. So our main website is gillmanstrategicgroup.com, but there's a 6 pillars landing page that comes out of that can give you a lot of different information. We've recorded a lot of 6-minute videos that you can fit in between things because we know lawyers are very busy. So we say point 1 can make a difference.
By the way, just so it's clear, it's Gillman, Gillman, strategicgroup.com.
Absolutely. And, your followers and the people that are listening for you are welcome with our initiatives too, Law, Life, and Sirens and Summations. And certainly for lawyers that are following us, highly recommend following Jennifer. This interview and others for Nothing But the Truth can be found on nothingbutthetruthpodcast.com. We are filming video with this audio. The video's there, and all the into Spotify and Google Podcasts and wherever your podcasts are found as well. Jennifer, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for coming on and sharing your stories.
Peace.
Been a lot of fun. Thanks so much.
We're the Bianchi Law Group, a team of former prosecutors and certified criminal trial attorneys.
But here's the thing. He put himself in a box when he said,
relied on by CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, Law and Crime, and news leaders across the country for our criminal defense expertise.
To get a search warrant, you have to have probable cause that a crime's been committed and there's evidence in a particular place.
When you need a law firm with courage, compassion, and the commitment to fight for you, call the Bianchi Law Group today.